barbecue ribs, watermelon, and Kool-Aid.
This is the most problematic thing I've ever seen.
And yet it was all on the menu at an NYU dining hall for Black History Month.
I thought it would be very clear that red Kool-Aid and watermelon is just a very stereotypical and racially tinged concept.
That comes with stereotypes of poverty and things of that nature. It's just not an accurate way to celebrate the Black students on this campus.
Black History meal, right?
That Black History Month meal was served up Tuesday afternoon at NYU's Weinstein Dining Hall. Kayla Eubanks is a sophomore. She took one look at lunch and took action.
I sent out an email to the deans, to several student organizations, and I was trying to, just raise awareness.
Word on campus spread quickly. So did the outrage.
A lot of students were very upset.
They went out of their way to go and get the watermelon, but watermelon isn't even in season right now.
Today, their concerns have been heard. NYU President Andrew Hamilton sent a statement to the Washington Square News. He said the Black History Month menu was inexcusably insensitive.
It's 2018, and that's just disappointing and shameful to see that.
The Weinstein Passport Dining Hall is managed by a contractor, Aramark. Aramark told Pix 11 today that several employees acted on their own in planning this meal, and they have since been fired. Aramark apologized to the entire NYU community.
It does make a difference that they did apologize, and as long as they don't make any future errors in the same manner, then it's fine.
I'm sure they didn't mean it in an offensive way.
They may have thought they were doing a good idea, but nonetheless, it wasn't.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brown Logan, and today we got to talk about what you just saw. Now, that video was crazy. I was cracking up, dying, laughing all the way throughout. But I need to give you a little bit of background about what's happening here, and also to fill in some gaps that were left in the report. Now, last things first, the gaps in the report. The reporter said that it was the employees of the Aramark catering company, I suppose, that took it upon themselves to do this. But what she failed to mention, at least I didn't hear it in this report, was that the employees were Black. That's right. Black cooks decided to cook food that they identify with Black History Month. So Black cooks cooked a Black meal for Black History Month, and they get fired for being racially insensitive towards Blacks. Very interesting. But like I say, I'm not surprised at all by stuff like this. NYU is a liberal arts university. It's right there in Manhattan. Room, board, and fees per year is $70,000 thereabout. You're talking about over a 4-year period. That's over $240,000. A crazy amount of money. I never spent anywhere close to that during my college education. You're talking about maybe $7 grand total, through my whole experience. That was only kind of that I accrued, and beyond that, I was able to pay for my first semester in college out of my own pocket. It was $1,000. I paid that out of my own pocket from working during the summer. No scholarships, none of that. Just me, just grinding, getting money, working. And then I got a loan later in my career when I went to a 4-year university, which may have been a mistake, but I digress. My whole point is that you got these liberal kids that probably come from a financially well-off family that are, very intelligent, high IQ, great test scores, perform well academically. But some of the kids may be a little bit too high in the sky for their own good. They lack a lot of interpersonal experience in the real world. Now, let's get to what was actually served. You heard some of the items in the news report. You may have seen some of them on screen. The AP wrote an article about this, and it's hilarious because, they actually issued an apology. NYU, that is. I think it's the president, Andrew Hamilton. That's an interesting name. He said that it was inexcusably insensitive for a food service company to feature barbecue ribs, cornbread, collard greens, and beverages with, wait for it, racist connotations. That's right. You have racist beverages, Kool-Aid and watermelon-flavored water. Now, I've seen this kind of bandied about all over Facebook, all over the internet. Watermelon-flavored water. What it really was slices of watermelon put inside of a water or a juice, and you could just drink from that the same way you drink the red Kool-Aid. And let's get into, speaking of red Kool-Aid, that's a great segue. Let's get into the reaction of the Black folks that were in the actual video. I think it was the one Black woman. Now, she referred to the cherry flavored Kool-Aid as red, and it was also a woman by the name of Nia who put something on Facebook, and we're going to read that in just a moment. But she also called it red. Now, if I'm to believe that these foods are culturally insensitive and don't go with Black History Month, then why are they calling it red? That's not what it's called. It's called cherry. They call it red because it's a cultural thing for Black folks to recognize red Kool-Aid as red Kool-Aid. Because when you're a kid and you go in that drawer that your mama got and you got the Kool-Aid packets and you see the one that's red and you see your mom pour it in there, and when she makes it with the right amount of sugar, it's just, mwah, it's perfect. So anytime you see that packet, you say, hey, I want that. I want the red. You're not thinking about the flavor of it. You know, it's this big red, it's this packet that's like that big and it's red. It's the best one. Everybody knows that. The kind of food they served, before we get to Nia's statement, the kind of food they served is really basic in most Black households. I grew up on this kind of food, especially the red Kool-Aid. They also had macaroni and cheese. I mean, collard greens. I enjoy collard greens right now. Give me some good collard greens, some cornbread. Matter of fact, during Christmas dinner, I was at a dinner and then they brought out some cornbread. I'm like, wait a minute, you got cornbread? I got excited. You know, I like cornbread. It's just food. Enjoy the food. But let's get to what Nia said here in her statement. Now, I think this went viral, or part of it may have gone viral. So that may have led NYU to apologize and for this whole kerfuffle to blow up over the internets, over news. But we're going to see what she said. Now, this is not the entire thing. This is just a portion of it, and I'll link to the whole thing in the box. She says, this is what it's like to be a Black student at New York University. You go to a dining hall during February and you see, quote, Black History Month meal, unquote, plastered outside the entrance. You walk inside a dining hall only to find ribs, collard greens, and mac and cheese. You know that this is stereotypical, but you decide not to make a big deal. Then you see the beverages, red, and the word red is capitalized, and so is Kool-Aid, not uppercase, but just capitalized, you know, the R and the K. Red Kool-Aid and watermelon water. You take a breath. You have to speak with the person over the specific dining hall menu. After being bounced around from person to person, you finally get a chance to meet with someone. Today, this happened. Today, I was lied to, placated, and ignored. In 2018, I literally had to explain why displaying watermelon and Kool-Aid in celebration of Black History Month was not only racially insensitive, but just ignorant. I've wanted to go to NYU since I was in 7th grade, and it breaks my heart that at this allegedly diverse and global institution, Black students are faced with issues like this one. Attached below is the email I sent to dining services today, as well as the deans of university. However, I don't want it to stop there. Please share, repost, comment, or whatever. Talk about these issues. These institutions want Black students for diversity statistics, but cannot handle when students speak out. It's time for action. Now, this is the mentality. And by the way, she's studying Africana studies, so that pretty much tells you what's happening there. And my thing is this. It was Black cooks that made that decision on their own. They decided, okay, we're going to cook a Black meal, something that we grew up on. They probably come from Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, whatever. They say, okay, we're getting tired of serving all these gluten-free, vegan, all that kind of stuff in the dining hall for these liberal arts, spoiled rich kids from all over the country, all over the world. We want to serve our food. We're going to bring some red Kool-Aid. We're going to bring some collard greens, some barbecue ribs. We want to bring some real stuff. And for that, they get fired. Yes, they did get fired. And the school had to apologize. So let me get this straight. The school, which is very diverse, by the way, they have Black employees there. All right. The Black employees get fired for making a Black meal during a Black History Month because Black students got angry. It's really crazy. And I think what this shows is more of a cultural divide between Black people here in the United States, which is why when I hear about Pan-Africanism, I kind of laugh. I'm like, we can't even get along here. You got different types of Black folks from region to region within the state, and from state to state is totally different. And then you got class issues. I mean, it's so many different things that separate us from being able to be unified as black folks is really a shame. And I think one thing we could agree on is the food. I think that, as I close here, I think that Nia and the other young lady in the video, I think they secretly like watermelon. They probably eat it in the closet.
I just can't understand how we as black people start eating watermelon in the closet. Lord have mercy. I see my black brothers and sisters, and they'll see me eating a piece of watermelon like this here. And they'll go to frown their faces up, and that's despicable. But it's good.
They're probably eating watermelon in the closet. They don't want people to know that they enjoy these foods. And you know, it's kind of funny how you had the white liberal in there talking about how bad it was and they shouldn't do it again. So they'll encourage us to not eat healthy food, which is watermelon, because let's not forget, this is a fruit. This is not some like McDonald's or something like that. It's a healthy food. So we can't eat the watermelon, but we can eat, you know, Popeye's chicken and stuff like that. That's fine. The lady that comes on TV and talks about Popeyes in the commercials, that's all good. Nothing wrong with that. McDonald's, KFC, Pizza Hut, that's all good. But if we eat watermelon, a fruit, a natural fruit with seasoning, nah, don't eat that, because that's culturally insensitive, it's stereotypical. Please. I'm going to eat whatever I want to eat. If I was still the kind of person that like drank Kool-Aid, because I used to drink Kool-Aid a lot. Like I grew up on Kool-Aid. I kind of I'm more healthy now. But back in the day when I was coming up, and even into my early 20s, please, a meal like this, I would have been glad to have it. Especially at like when I was going to ODU or TCC, please. If they had this, I would have crushed it. I'd have been the first one in there crushing it, and I wouldn't have been embarrassed. I wouldn't have been ashamed. Food is food at the end of the day. Either you like it or you don't. Ain't no racist food. But what do you think? Do you think NYU was in the wrong for doing this? Now, if you think that way, then please explain to me why. And when I say by doing this, I mean by allowing that catering company to do what they did, because it wasn't like you had the guy, Andrew Hamilton, the president of NYU, you know, cooking ribs and stuff like that. It was the catering company, Aramark. They probably, like I said, they probably come from the surrounding areas in New York. They're probably not getting paid a whole lot of money. You know, you just cook it for kids in college. They want to do something for themselves. Not necessarily for the kids, but just for themselves. They're coming from the black areas. They grew up on this kind of food. They want to bring it to the kids rather than all that vegan stuff. Ain't nothing wrong with vegan food. That's fine. But they wanted to do a little something different. I want to have the cooks who got fired speak out and hear from their point of view. And you know what? I got to say one more thing here. I think that episodes like this, where you have somebody that may have hated Trump, that may hate conservatives, that may hate everything about the right, they may be brought more over to our side, because think about it. They're just doing what they feel is appropriate for them. They want to feel included. They want to feel like they're part of NYU and they're part of the cultural diversity that's going on. So they cook something that they can identify with, that they grew up with. And for that, they get fired. Talking about it's culturally insensitive. Now, the right one do nothing like that. We wouldn't do, I mean, if you want to cook that, that's fine. We're not too much hung up on it. So I think it pushes them, if not all the way to the right, it pushes them more towards the center and away from the left. So really the left, it can keep on doing things like this. It's just going to bring people to our side or to the center. And once we got them in the center, we got them, because they already have a propensity to leave the left, because they already got turned off by the left because they got fired from their job. So now it's like, we got them right here. We can just bring them on our side. And once they come to the dark side, it ain't no going back. But whatever your comments are, if you think I'm right, if you think I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.
Put a twang of salt on a sweet melon, and it brings out like accent. I said, what you say? He said, man, I love watch you watching people. Y'all dumb souls doing it like you got chicken. He said, but you twang it. I never knew that.